It's finally here, that beautiful time of the year. Not that, the Steam summer sale has finally started.
Nice.
Time to empty out your wallet. This small game was a surprise hit created by a single developer. Without a big publisher to back him, it went largely unnoticed until the reviews came in. Then it blew up. The atmosphere, graphics and gameplay of this little Metroidvania are on point. Only a modest discount for Animalwell, but it comes highly recommended. Oh, these games are all ordered by discount, by the way. Number 2. This one needs very little introduction. At the Game Awards, it snatched 6 of its 8 nominations, including the much coveted Game of the Year. I'm talking of course about Baldur's Gate 3. I personally have lost many sleepless nights working my way through its worlds. And being perfectly honest, I haven't even finished it yet. This is up there as one of the best games of all time. 20% off on this one. One of the more recent releases on this list, and one that didn't end up doing as well as expected. This is their follow-up to a cult classic nobody thought we'd get. But as it turns out, Capcom was listening, and on March 21st they gave us Dragon's Dogma 2. Dragon's Dogma 1 was so different from any other action RPG at the time, not in the least because of the actual danger the knight presented. Or maybe it was the epically large, scalable bosses. I don't know, but either way, it was a great game. From what I've heard, Dragon's Dogma is very similar in many ways. I'll probably pick this up. Side note, this does not run well on the Steam Deck. Another smaller release, but one that seems to do many things right. It's been a long time since I played a good medieval RTS. In this case, think Stronghold combined with a bit of Age of Empires. Castle building, a realistic medieval economy, and deep strategic gameplay. Manor Lords looks pretty awesome, I think. It just released and already 25% off. I haven't played this game yet, despite the hype that surrounded it when it launched in early access earlier this year. But given its very positive rating on Steam and how everybody's still raving about this Pokemon clone, it's about time I pick up Palworld. Pretty decent sale at 25% too, and a large new update was released earlier this week. This is a game I really want to play. It does something completely different from all the other godlike sims, and it looks really good. You play as one of 3 titans with control over the elements to shape the world, and it's your goal to create a thriving civilization. I've played games like this before, and the fact that you only have indirect control over the game can be frustrating. But given the overwhelmingly positive rating of Rose 2, that doesn't seem to be a problem. A very good 28% sale on the bundle, or 20% for Rose 2. I've wanted to pick this one up for a long time, but never got around to it, despite many recommendations and an awesome premise. This is an open world base building survival game, so that's good. But the cool thing is, you play as a vampire. This is V Rising. I've heard good things about the base building and survival gameplay, and it's on a not too shabby 30% sale. A game that very recently moved from Epic exclusive to Steam and already on a great 31% sale. I've always wanted to try these action RPGs because I'm a big fan of Disney and Pixar. Lucky for me, Kingdom Hearts 1, 2 and 3 and all their fractions are on sale. This has got to be one of the weirdest naming conventions in a game ever. Speaking of Disney, from what I've heard, this game is loosely based on the story of Pinocchio. Imagine a movie, take away all of its color, change all the happy-go-lucky characters into creepy monsters, give Pinocchio a big sword, and you have a bit of an idea of what you're into with Lies of P. I am notoriously bad at Souls-like games, but what can I do? It's 40% off! After the bombshell news that Microsoft closed 2 massive gaming studios, Tango Gameworks and Arcane, I have to try this game. I was never very interested despite its overwhelmingly positive reception. It all just looks a little too weird for me. Hi-Fi Rush is a rhythm combat game from the people that made The Evil Within, and I still can't get over that we won't ever see an Evil Within 3. Anyways, 40% off on this one. And speaking of The Evil Within, both of these amazing horror games from the creator of Resident Evil 4 are on sale. These are some of the scariest survival horror games you'll ever play. First one might be a bit dated in its gameplay, and especially the stealth action seems broken and way too hard. But the second one fixes everything and does it all in an open world setting. Very unusual for a horror game. Highly recommended. Another Square Enix special. A turn-based strategy game that is not afraid to do things a little different. Instead of following one central plotline, we follow 8 smaller plotlines that intersect at certain points. I didn't like it very much in the first one since the story felt a bit disjointed to me, but again the overwhelmingly positive reviews on the second one have convinced me that I need to pick up Octopath Traveler 2. 40% off on this one, down to $35.99, and number 1 is on a 50% discount as well. I am a total fighting game noob, but even I have heard of and played certain games in this series. This latest iteration was released earlier this month and already on a 50% discount. Street Fighter 6. It looks great and I'll probably pick it up. Another one I'm excited for. I played the first one, which was an awesome zombie shooter hack and slasher, but it's a bit outdated now, so I'm happy the second one just moved over from the Epic Games Store. I'm talking about Dead Island 2. It's on a nice 50% discount. Shooting, hacking and slashing zombies under the guise of a flimsy story. What's not to like? This is one of the scariest games I've played in a long time. But not for the usual creepy monster reasons. No, we're talking base building, surviving, and crafting underwater. And man, the atmosphere is rivaled by no game. Narrowly escaping an underwater cave with your flimsy submarine, while constantly being hounded by giant sea monsters. It doesn't get better than this. Oh, this is Subnautica, by the way. Great sale too, of 67%. And its standalone expansion is also on sale. I can't wait for Subnautica 2. I'm a big fan of turn-based strategy games. Combine that with a hilariously over-the-top premise and amazingly funny, lowbrow humor. Yes, I'm not sophisticated, and you have an amazing combination. South Park: The Fractured Butthole is that game. Don't write this off as just another South Park game. It has a very deep and satisfying combat that's easy to pick up and sometimes surprisingly hard to master. And for $6, how can you go wrong? This next one is a very underrated little gem that I never hear anybody talking about, which is a shame because it's such a good game. You play as, in my opinion, engineer speaking here, one of the most badass factions in the 40k universe. From all of that, you might have guessed it. I'm speaking of Warhammer 40k Mechanicus. If that's not enough, but it should be, your main opponents are the Necrons. Creepy, skeletal robot monsters. Believe me, for $6, it's worth giving this a try. I'm sure I'm gonna get flack for recommending the third one in this trilogy, but I stand by it. This one's my favorite, and I try to recommend it every time I see it on sale. Arkham Asylum was good. Arkham City was even better, but Arkham Knight with its deep vehicle combat and great premise improves upon all of that. 90% off, and at $1.99 you really can't go wrong. This one might not be for everyone. It's kind of slow and ponderous, but it's very deep. Truly, every decision you make matters in this game. If you're looking for a deep RPG, this is that. There is one caveat. There is no combat. Just talking. Disco Elysium. I gotta be honest, it was a little too slow for me and I didn't finish it. But I know a good game when I see one. 90% off. And lastly for today, finishing on a high note, literally, if you finish the game that is, which believe me is highly unlikely because of how difficult it is, help Madeline survive her inner demons on her journey to the top of Celeste Mountain. Needless to say, I never made it to the top and ending of Celeste. Again, a great game, but way too hard for me. Because I suck at games, it's a fact. But I mean, for $1.99, what do you have to lose? Alright, that's it for today, but I'll be back with some more deals soon. Keep an eye out. Also, check out this deals video as pretty much all these recommendations are on sale as well. And I hope to see you in the next one.